My name is Kaylee Sloman. I will be doing this presentation on a sustainability assessment for a single-family home. So to just give you a little bit of information, the single-family home is approximately 950 square feet, has 2 occupants, myself and my husband. We're looking to do some upgrades to it to kind of get it updated. It's a little bit dated. So this was actually a really good project for me to do to kind of get an idea of what our options were and what things could be sustainable that we would like to update. So saying that, I read a quote by Rollo May from The Courage to Create. We must always base our commitment in the center of our own being, or else no commitment will be ultimately authentic. So I felt that that really applied to this particular project and learning how to apply sustainability principles to a home such as my own before I'm able to do it successfully in a business or career setting. So I felt that that was very important, and that quote kind of summed it up pretty well. All right, so let me go ahead and start my presentation. All right, bear with me. I'm just gonna grab that. All right, so here's my title page, Sustainability in the Single Family Home. The agenda here, I chose 2 different assessment tools, the Energy Star Home Energy Yardstick and the Florida Green Building Coalition Green Home Standard. The areas I've concentrated on in those 2 are energy conservation and water conservation, so I'll explain a little bit more about those. And then at the end, we'll kind of touch on the triple bottom line and how those areas that I concentrated on kind of help to explain or affect the triple bottom line. So the assessment summary for the Energy Star Home Energy Yardstick, it takes into consideration the square footage of the home, which is approximately 950 air-conditioned square feet, the occupancy load, which is 2 adults, myself and my husband, and a 12-month utility bill history. Our house is all electric, so it was pretty easy to come across that information. The second assessment tool that I used was the Florida Green Building Coalition Green Home Standard. And there's multiple standards within this assessment. I chose energy, water, lot choice, and occupant health to kind of focus on for the actual assessment. So for energy conservation, the first thing we kind of looked at was the windows. The windows in this home are extremely dated, so those need to be updated probably pretty soon, probably within the next year or 2. And a couple important things to consider when selecting windows I have up on the screen is the U factor, glazing, and something called the SHGC. So I found this chart to be extremely helpful in determining what types of things I need to be looking for the window. So we're in the southern region here in Florida, so it kind of goes into your U factor for that. So that was very helpful. A lot of energy is lost in inefficient windows, especially in Florida. We're not so concerned about heating costs as we are cooling costs. So it's hot 11.5 months out of the year. So having inefficient windows definitely poses a problem for energy conservation. I have a couple recommendations of different window makes. The PGT and the New South Window Solutions both meet the Florida Product Approval and International Building Codes, and both are Energy Star certified. The second thing I looked at for energy conservation was the roof. Our roof actually needs some repairs, and we're going to be looking to definitely be replacing it the next couple of years. So a couple of things to consider: solar reflectance, solar emittance. I have it there on the screen. The reflectance is the fraction of solar energy that is reflected by the roof. The emittance obviously is the relative ability of the roof surface to radiate absorbed heat. So both of those things are influenced by the color of the shingle. So currently we have a very dark gray shingle. The lighter the shingle, the more the ability of the product to actually reflect and emit the heat, which is extremely important in Florida. So a couple of recommendations there is the GAF Timberline Cool Series and the CertainTeed Landmark Solaris. So again, most of our energy efficiency is lost within our windows and our roof of this home. So I felt like both of these selections really would help to bring up the energy conservation efforts. Second thing to consider for this house was water conservation. And I felt as though the most effective use of resources, considering we'll have to be replacing the windows and the roof, would be to kind of look at something that's a little bit more economical for water conservation for this house. The rain harvesting system offers a couple benefits. It actually diverts the stormwater runoff from your roof, so your gutters and everything. You can place the rain barrel underneath and it will collect the rainwater, and then you can then use it to water your plants. So you're saving money and you're diverting the stormwater runoff. So it's kind of a win-win there. A couple options, you can have like this one on the screen here is about 50 gallons, or you can get up to 137 gallons for residential rain barrel. The second consideration for water conservation was in the landscaping of the home. So when this home was purchased, there wasn't much in the name of landscaping. Most of it was turf. So obviously a lot of weeds. It's kind of hard to keep turf grass up. So with that being said, I figured that it would be good to try to figure out some plants that were native and drought tolerant to plant. So I've got some options there: trees, shrubs, ground cover, and some flowering plants. There's a whole host of these to choose from, but 40% of all of the water used in a home in the summertime is actually used on the lawn, which is crazy. So I figured that this would be a really good option to kind of cut down on the water usage and bring back some of the native landscape that was destroyed when the house was built, when the site was developed. You lose a lot of biodiversity when you use turf grass, which everybody's guilty of it. Everybody wants that really nice lawn. But to kind of limit that and bring back some of the natives would help both a water conservation standpoint and a biodiversity standpoint. So the closing remarks on this assessment: the triple bottom line: economical, societal, and environmental. Economical, there's cost savings all over the place. We've got cost savings for energy efficiency, cost savings for water conservation. If you've got energy efficient windows and energy reflective or a solar reflective roof, you're going to be saving a lot in cooling costs. From a societal standpoint, the stakeholders currently are myself and my husband. We'll definitely reap the benefits almost immediately, even after spending some money on the windows and the roof. But you got to also think about the future stakeholders, which would be somebody that would be considering purchasing the house later on down the line. You definitely want to keep updating the home and upgrading so that it's desirable in the market. The third thing, and I think one of the most important things, is environmental. The resource conservation: you're conserving your energy, you're conserving water, and not only are you doing that, you're also bringing back some native species of plants, and then thus allowing more forage area for the insects and the animals. So I really do think that the native species of plants definitely helps kind of the overall environmental aspect of this assessment recommendation. So it's my reference list from the information that I obtained for the presentation throughout the assessment. All right, let's end. Bear with me just a moment, it's a little bit laggy. Here we are. All right. So thank you so much for listening. This is my presentation for my single family home. I definitely enjoyed doing the project and learning a lot, and I hope to continue to learn a little bit more about the sustainability and how to apply it to businesses as well. Thank you.